For those that aren't familiar with it, can you describe what QB Collective is?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, and I can just pull from a article in the past I did on them, just because it best explains it. And I'm kind of stalling y'all here, but
It's all good, man.
In a nutshell, QB Collective is their mission, kind of to aim to bridge the gap between the NFL and high school football, and the philosophies and mechanics they taught are from Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kevin Stefanowski. All those guys are involved with QB Collective, and they've been putting on events and coaching these kids behind the scenes, watching film with them, and spending time with them, and putting them in an environment where they can tweak some things and pass down some of the knowledge that they have, and so this was their big event of the year. And with COVID-19 pandemic, it wasn't as big as typical, but they brought in some signal callers to the Indianapolis area, and it was a success, with Coach Sage Rosenfeld, who played 12 years in the league, kind of leading them on the field.
It looks like a cool event with some of the biggest names in the country, obviously, that participated. Caleb Williams among them, May, who's headed to North Carolina, and then Garrett Nussmeier, as you mentioned, the LSU commit. It looked like, based on your write-up, Steve, that Garrett Nussmeier really held his own. How did he do this weekend?
I mean, he was as good as anybody on the field. He was exciting. I mean, any rep he took, it seemed like I'm struggling for my words. He was just exciting. I mean, he was fun to watch. He was having a lot of fun out there. He was on. He was accurate. He was a leader. Has a great personality. People love being around him, including the other quarterbacks. He was having a good time, and I think what I was trying to say is there was a little electricity to him out there on the field that day, and he shined from the very first throw.
How do you, when you watch him or any of the coaches that you speak to, do they give you a comp either for a current player or someone that they scouted in the past at the high school level?
Well, I mean, at 24/7 Sports, one of our comps for him is for Tommy DeVito, who's the starting quarterback at Syracuse right now. And Sage Rosenfeld talked about how Garrett Nussmeier has a stronger arm than Drew Brees. So to give you some traits that he's bringing to the table. I'm never good at the comparison game. I need to get stronger in that regard. I just know that I see a quarterback with a lot of room to grow physically. I mean, he is not going to walk into that. He is not going to walk into that locker room at LSU and blow you away physically. But he has potential in that regard. So there's a lot of room to grow in the weight room. But he's almost 6'2", 180 pounds, threw for 3,788 yards and 38 touchdowns last year in the Lone Star State. He's got a ton of confidence. He's a guy that Trent Dilfer mentioned to me a month ago that's had to win the starting job 7 times. So with being a coach's kid, he's moved around a lot over the course of his young football career, and also being a coach's kid, Sage Rosenfeld mentioned the stage of LSU is not going to intimidate him. He's been in big stadiums, and his dad's the quarterback coach for the Dallas Cowboys now, but he's coached in the SEC, Big Ten, and Pac-12. And I just coming away, spending some time with Nussmeier in person, I was really excited about him. He's a stock-up guy. I watched the Elite 11 video, and I just thought there was a little more juice to him at the QB Collective with the way he performed in this setting.
Steve Wiltfong's with us, National Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports. His piece is up right now at 247sports.com. I just retweeted it if you want to go check it out. It's QB Collective Coaches Talk LSU Commit Garrett Nussmeier. You can see what the coaches there were saying about Nussmeier coming out of this event. Is there, if you had to pencil in or peg something, Steve, that Nussmeier maybe needs to work on? I mean, obviously nobody as a high school junior or rising senior is a finished product. What are the things that they say that he needs to work on before he gets to college?
Well, I just think it'll just start with him physically. I mean, he looks like he's in high school, where at the same time, Kyle McCord and Caleb Williams already have college-ready physiques. But that's irrelevant right now. Nussmeier's not in college right now. He doesn't need to have a college-ready physique. But I would say that's where it begins. But the coaches raved about his ability to throw on the move, make off-platform throws, the accuracy, and then just the high football IQ he brings to the field. I really think that he's got a chance to come to LSU and have a chance to be the guy that pushes for the job after Miles Brennan.
Yeah, there's also some great video on the Twitter page for @QB Collective, and you can follow Steve as well to see those links of Nussmeier throwing at the event this week. Just a couple more for you, Steve. And I am curious if, as tied in as you are, and we know how LSU struggled at this position for a decade, and now all of a sudden Joe Burrow comes, and the feeling locally here is that's going to have opened the floodgates. That maybe, hopefully, is the tipping point for other elite prospects to follow. Do you get that sense that that's kind of the feeling in the recruiting circles right now as it pertains to LSU and quarterbacks?
Well, they've had touted guys in the past. Quarterback's just a funny position because, it's about getting guys that can play on that stage or get in the right offense. And certainly LSU had the right offense with Joe Burrow there, and then Joe Burrow really blossomed within that scheme and became one of the best college football quarterbacks that we've seen. I thought Miles Brennan was a big get for LSU. I thought he was going to be the next. I thought he was going to kind of be the guy that changed the trend under center, coming out of Mississippi, the state's all-time passing leader, if I remember correctly. I just remember liking Miles Brennan a lot, and I got to see him at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game throw, and so I'm excited about his potential under center this year, and then obviously LSU took two guys they're excited about last year, Max Johnson and TJ Finley, and now they have Nussmeier in the fold. Certainly had a shot at Caleb Williams, and they have one in the boat already in 2022, and Will Campbell, who's ranked in our top 100, and they could take two. Ty Simpson was at this QB Collective event. Ty Simpson has as strong an arm as any in the country. Top 247 2022 kid as well. LSU's in the lead group there. So we'll see who they get, and then see if whoever they get has the fortitude to play under center at a place like LSU where there's a ton of scrutiny and be a fit within the offense that they're trying to run.
Shay and Billy and those guys go 24/7, obviously do an awesome job. We can tap in on a national level. They really are. Shay and Billy have been awesome to us. And you have as well, Steve. We can tap in on a national level and get sort of the national perspective on what's happening locally. It's always interesting as well. Y'all go check out Steve's Twitter at @SWiltfong247. He's got great video I just retweeted of Nussmeier throwing this weekend at the QB Collective event. He's got a good piece up right now at 247 Sports as well. Steve, we always appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll see you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.